Hey everyone, it's me, Magical Mel. Thanks for joining. Today we're going to be interviewing Trill Tarot. Going to find out a little bit about their background, their history, their goals, and I can't wait to get started. How are you today, Ronnie?
I'm doing really good. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Give me 1 second. Let me go ahead and put myself on mute. And you can just kind of start telling me about what started Trill Tarot, when you started, what got you excited about tarot, anything that you want to tell me, just like kind of give me some background and let me know like about yourself and how you came to doing this.
Okay. So I've been reading cards since I was a kid. I used to watch my grandma give us limpias, when we were all being bad. So I've always been drawn to like healing and spiritual things. I picked up on tarot pretty well because I also read books, and I feel like it's not that far reading books and reading cards and interpreting messages. But I actually started Troll Tarot about 2020, like when we were all quarantined and everyone was losing their minds. It was right after I lost my sister. So I was actually grieving, working, homeschooling my kids, stuck at home with my thoughts and kind of spiraling, honestly. I found
Wow.
com- I found comfort in my cards. I realized I had severe anxiety, and my cards actually bring me a lot of comfort. And so I actually started sharing that on social media. I was kind of scared. I was like in the broom closet. Um, but people were actually really receptive to my journey, to my story, my pain. And I was like, you know what? People need help. People need help and guidance. And so Chill Tarot started.
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, I'm so sorry for your loss. I can only imagine how difficult that had been for you, especially with everything that was going on with COVID and then having to, I don't know if you're new into homeschooling, but if you were new into jumping into homeschooling and bringing that whole world into the mix, like that had to be really hard. And I can't even imagine being in that place and being able to say, okay, I'm ready to share, because when I get that way, I isolate. So that's just amazing and beautiful. That's a wonderful story and a wonderful start to something amazing. I've been following your page on Instagram, I think, since 2020. So that's pretty cool. That like I just saw like how you do the cards, and I'm like, I relate to that. I totally relate to that. I've been reading for quite a while, so, I resonated with the vibes that you give out when you're putting your messages out there and everything. So that's
Thank you
really
so much.
amazing.
I
Yeah,
love hearing that. I love hearing that. If I make a difference in anybody's life, like that's what it's all about.
that's
That's what it's all
awesome.
about. Yeah, and
Definitely.
you know
And
what? I figured my sister was 36 when she died. She still had like a whole life ahead of her. And so I figured, what better time than now? I'm just gonna take a leap of faith into myself, and I just did it, and I'm really glad I did. It was one of the best decisions I ever
well, definitely your followers feel the same way. Anybody that can relate to your story is gonna like vibe with that. But I know that when you're reading your cards and you're like actually helping somebody, you're feeling that energy and that that space where you're like, okay, this is for me. This is what I'm meant to be. This is
made.
my destiny. This is my passion. So tell me a little bit about because we talked about what got you into tarot. I mean, obviously, I can relate to that too. I have a Catholic background with my family, and just we get into it from ancestry and all kinds of different
Yeah.
reasons. But tell me a little bit about what made you start the business aspect, and what are some of the business things that motivate you daily? Like, what do you do? Some daily tasks, anything about your business aspect of it.
So I realized during all of this that I was a real serious empath. And like all my life, people will come to me and pour all their stuff onto me, their vent, and they'll vent for like an hour, and it has nothing to do with me. And they'll walk away feeling comforted and they feel better. But I'm left drained and exhausted and like full of their emotions. And I just realized, why am I doing this for free? I why am I doing this for free? So I went ahead and I'm gonna charge people for my gifts. You know what I mean? I'm make a difference in your life. I should be getting something out of it too. So I went ahead and started Troll Tarot. I kind of like stumbled my way through figuring out everything. I realized that social media is a huge help. Like most of my business came from Instagram at first, and then I'm still working on Facebook. It's so hard on Facebook. But I realized being myself, the way that I talk, speaking through to my followers the way that I would speak to a best friend, giving you the real and not sugarcoating any of it, because who is that helping really?
That's what really turned me on about your readings, because I'm like, yes, not everybody out there is doing this, and that is what we need. We need
Yeah,
that. The
I
tarot's gonna
like to
slap us
keep
in the
it
face
real.
anyway. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
I don't like to sugarcoat anything. Tell me like it is, because otherwise you're not helping me. So I went ahead and went full speed on social media. It's really been word of mouth, referrals. I recently started doing markets. I really want to get like storefront or like a mobile caravan and call it like Trail on Wheels or something. Like I have so
That's dope. That sounds
many
awesome.
ideas, and I'm a Gemini, so my mind is just constantly like go 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 go, and I can't make it happen as fast as I'm coming up with it.
Well, that's all a good thing. That's all a good problem to have,
Yeah,
when
it
they have
really is.
business. One of the things that I can tell you that Geminis really do well with is having somebody who is like a Capricorn or somebody who's like a doer in their mix. That way you can kind of like balance out. These are my ideas. They're writing it down just as fast as they're coming out, and then they
Yeah,
can help you implement. My husband and I are a Gemini Capricorn duo, and we've worked together ever since we've been together. So it's been one of the things that we really share like love in. So that's pretty
yeah.
cool. I love that.
My husband
Um,
is my right hand with all of this, and I relate to that in such a big way. I'm the creative, and he's like the muscle. So yeah, we work very well together. But I do need someone business side to like ground me and like keep me in reality, because there's so much going on up there.
Yeah, no worries. I mean, that's a good problem to have as well.
Yeah,
Just being able to flow and get into that headspace where you're imagining, that's so perfect for you. That's like your love like throb right there. You
yeah.
feel that in yourself and you're just giving more good out. So that's amazing. I'm happy to hear that. And I'm happy to hear a little bit about some of your goals. If you want to tell me some more things. Like, you just got started into markets. Have you been to Absolem's, the voodoo shop that we're going to be at for this event?
No, I have not actually. I've been doing, I think, like Montrose marketplaces. So I'm still trying to get my feet wet. I don't want to do the wrong thing. I don't want to pick the wrong market. It's such a strategic thing to be picking and choosing, but this one sounded amazing. I've never heard of anything like it. I've never seen or experienced anything like it. So I'm so excited. Y'all are like living in 3030.
That is amazing. Thank you so much for that compliment. Okay, so I will, after this chat, I'll tell you a couple of things and give you a couple of like markets to like follow. That way you can really get into your niche. There are going to be markets all around that want tarot readers, obviously, but we want to make money when we're doing our job. So let me give you a couple of tips. I've been doing this for quite some time, and I think I can really help you just to augment a little bit. But to talk about this voodoo shop just for a moment, because I love them so much, you're gonna
Yeah.
love it. This is our third bad luck ball. So the first one we did in 2020, I had the same fears and reservations. It was up the whole week up until the red alert, like they were having the red alert everywhere for COVID. And we
Wow.
were like, no, we're performers. The show must go on. And so we did it March 13th, and the next day we went
Wow.
into lockdown.
That was like
But
right, yeah, but that was like right there. Wow, that's
yeah,
crazy.
but the ritual was honored. We got our signs from Spirit. We had a red carpet event. We did draping. We did the works. We did everything to the nine. And that just really inspired us because doing that ritual, it really did give us good luck in our business.
Yeah.
And so that's what we share every bad luck ball. We do a ritual for staving off bad luck and bringing in the good luck, and then we honor something every year. Last year we
I love
did
that.
a bad luck ball for honoring our Black and Brown community. So we did a nonprofit event with Hardy and Nance and Visionary Grind Art. So this year we wanted to celebrate Jesus Malverde, and I'm not sure if you're aware, but this will be his 113th anniversary of his death.
Okay.
So this event is going to have Santa Muerte stuff. It's going to have all kinds of things from the saints, and we'll have that type of energy going there too. So it's going to be a great event, and it's going to be more towards like your background and akin to that. So this is a really good one for you to be as your first one.
I love
That's
that. Thank you
awesome.
so much.
Yes. Where do you see yourself, let's say in 3 years?
In 3 years, I want to have a storefront. I really want, on the east side of Houston, there's like really, in my neighborhood, you have to either drive to Baytown, to Pasadena, or to Humble for a spiritual shop. And I want something in my hood. So
Yeah, I live in
I
Columbia, so I know.
yeah, I want a storefront, a whole spiritual shop vibe. I want all of that. And I want that caravan. Like I want it all. So I have plans. I have big
Yeah.
plans.
So if you started in 2020, you're already been doing this for 2 years. So looking at the third year, like, 3 years from now, that's your 5 year mark. That is definitely when you can be having your roots in the ground and having everything that you imagine.
And
So
it's totally
definitely
possible.
yeah, definitely keep in contact with me. I will give you all of the resources that I have to help you get to where you want to be. Obviously, I've been back and forth and doing different things, like, I'm in the metaverse and stuff like that. But I totally get wanting to have that, fortune teller shop, that metaphysical aspect. And I have wares and things like that that I wholesale. So I can totally help you with those things.
Yeah.
And then let me see, was there anything else that I wanted to ask you? Um, yeah, I just wanted to kind of get a grip of like, what you do and how how you feel about business, and we covered everything. Is there anything that you want to tell your audience and your viewers that they should know about you, that they should remember about you, and why they should pick you as a reader?
First of all, because I feel like I'm totally relatable. I'm not somebody who lives in this like rich house, and has no idea about struggle and what we go through, anxiety, like the real shit that people are like, oh my God, about every single day. I live in Channelview, I live in this trailer, I got 3 kids, I got a full-time job, and I'm doing this. You know what I mean? So like I get it. I feel you. I know what you're going through, but I've also been through it, so I can help get you there too.
I love that. That's wonderful. So you're here with Trill Tarot and Magical Mal. And I'll just say one more time, look into Jesus Malverde. He is the savior of the poor. And that is exactly why we're doing this, because we want to be there to help the people in need who feel like they've gotten a bad luck bout. And we're ready to turn that around and make a difference for the world. So thank you so much for all of your talent and everything that you're doing to all of your audience and all of the people who are coming to know you. They will find you. They're being magnetized towards you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I really appreciate you joining us for this podcast. I hope that we can have more time to talk in the future. Maybe do a recap after Bad Luck Ball, and you can share your experience with it.
I would love to. That's great.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Bye.
Bye. And today I'm here with Tiara from Solemn Sun Tarot. How are you
Hello.
today?
I am well. How are we?
Awesome, doing good. We're excited to have you on today. Kind of wanted to hear a little bit about how you got started. We'll talk about some of the business stuff, and then just kind of tell me how, like, what your goals, what do you see for your future? Because since you're a seer, I'm sure you have big plans and big visions for yourself.
I
So
do.
let's get started. What got you into tarot?
So I started reading tarot whenever I was like roughly like 15, 14, something like that, maybe even a little bit earlier. Um, but I was always super into like eclectic studies, and I was very fortunate enough to have the mom that was like into nurturing that with me. So she was always buying me like all the weird books, and she was just like, "Oh, you want that weird book? Like, yeah, okay, cool, here you go." And so like I would literally like hold myself up in like my room and like just kind of like read astrology books. Is I don't know if other kids ever did that, but here I was. But we eventually we met a friend at like a psychic fair that was like held by this like non-denominational eclectic church or whatever. And anyway, we made this friend. We started like going over to her house, things like that. Um, and she just kind of like pulled out her cards, and she asked me. She was like, "Hey, like, are you interested?" And I was like, "Yeah, like that'd be cool, of course. Like that's neat. Like show me how." And so she like takes me over to this table, and let me adjust my video. There we go. Okay, much better. And so she takes me over to this table in her room, or like in like this like foyer type space, and she's just like, "Okay, like here you go, do the thing." And I was like, what? She's like, "Yeah, like give me a reading, like go ahead." And I was like, "Oh, sure, why not? I'll try." And so she shuffles them, and she tells me like essentially like how to do a Celtic cross spread. And she's like, "Okay, now like just tell me what you think." And I just kind of like looked at the pictures, and I basically was like, I feel like I was just reading imagery. This was a long time ago, so I don't really remember what I said verbatim, but I felt like I was just reading a lot of imagery and like trying to give her a reading on like what little bit I knew. And she was just like, "Yeah, like that was cool." And she ended up going and telling my mom about it, and she was like, "Yeah, like she can see things, like she can read cards." And like my mom, not too long after that, like bought me a deck, and I just kind of played and studied with them, and like it just kind of leapt from there. And my study, it fluctuated in intensity, just because, like a lot of it was reading for myself or just reading for my mom, occasionally a friend or two, very casual, just like having fun, nothing super serious. But like over time though, like the more I got into it, like it became more serious in my life. Like I was like, oh, like these are actually tools that I can use and they have purpose. And like, um, just like coming up to this point, like, they have just sort of like expanded not only like my practice but my life. And so um this is just kind of like the another chapter in that journey for me.
That's amazing. So when exactly did you start it as a business, and like what got you into thinking like, okay, I can really just do this as a business?
So I want to say it was back in 2019. I went to Austin, and I was trying to move up there, and my sister, she let me stay with her. And like I was only up there for a whole 3 months. Like I wasn't really making the money to, have an apartment per se. I eventually ended up leaving, but um, while I was up there in Austin, I uh, went to this Curia Marcana that is owned by, I'm going to butcher his name probably, Francis Blake Houston Suchamel III. Like they're still up there, Curia Marcana. But anyway, I sort of like made good acquaintances with them. They sent out an advertisement that they were essentially hiring readers because they were employed under the Zach Theater to do readings before the Dracula play started.
That's super cool.
It was just like complimentary readings, like that. Anyone that bought tickets could come in and just like get a quick reading real fast, and give them something to sort of think about, like right before they went and sat for, a few hours watching a play. But I was like, why not? I can do it. So let's see what I can, why not? But they ended up providing us a deck, and it was cartomancy, not tarot. But like we still like had lessons, we had meetings, like it was a whole thing. And just doing that, like it made me realize like, oh, like I can read for other people. I can do it back to back. It doesn't have to be people that I know. I can do cold reading. Like I just sort of like realized that like all these things that I could do, and people enjoyed having the readings with me. They would even they didn't have to pay. They're complimentary, but they would still like tip me quite generously. And I was like, okay, like this is very helpful.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's beautiful. And then like you just resonated with cards, period. You have the tool in your hand and you're just like, it just vibes with you. And I totally relate to that.
And I really enjoyed seeing like how it didn't have to be tarot cards. Like it made me think like, oh, like maybe I can really just use almost anything. And it also led me to being more open to experimentation and being more open to having more decks in my hand and using those, and how to, compare one deck versus the other. Cause like I always thought, before that, like, oh, like it's a super sacred thing. Like you have one deck and like it's yours and it resonates with you and like that's it. And I never understood how people had multiple decks. But whenever I was given another deck, like a very unique deck where like he did the artwork and it's very intentional, and like I was using something with like a directed goal, and like it was sort of infused with that direction, that momentum, like I could see how they read different and I was still able to use it. I was still able to resonate. And I was like, oh, that's some jazz. Like, what else can I do?
Yeah, that's awesome.
But whenever I came back down to Missouri County, it was sort of like it was kind of like a challenge for myself to, like, I sort of told myself, I was like, I don't like, like being under somebody else. Like I want to have my own business, like what can I do? Like, I want to be able to make my own money. Like, I don't want to have to worry about like, oh, I can't afford this, I can't afford that. Like, I want that financial freedom. Like, and so, what can I do? And I realized that I could do tarot. And so I felt like in a way, it was kind of a gateway, to eventually gaining that by starting that business and just seeing if I could. And I did it in a very casual way, sort of like, because I saw how kind of, I don't want to say that it's easy. I don't, but like people can go on social media and just like, bam, they have it. And like, it's a business and they can build it from there. Like you don't have to be a master to start a business. And by realizing that, I was like, oh, like I can be casual. And so I still do it to this day. Like I read at the pub that I work at every Tuesday. It's Tarot on a Tuesday. And, people just come by, and a lot of it's word of mouth. And I have like a small Facebook page that I'm still building. And I eventually want to get to where like I'm doing more like DMs, virtual readings, things like that. But right now it's kind of like I just now started expanding to like doing festivals and markets and things like that. And that's exciting in all in itself. But yeah, like
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. That's amazing. That's great that you have it's just like somewhere that houses you every week.
mhm, for sure. I just so happen to work for a incredibly flexible and generous person. Um, I adore my boss. He's very good to me. But I literally did it for a Halloween thing. I was just like, I'm going to do tarot and I'm going to bring business. Haha, here I am bringing in revenue. And he's like, yeah, like, let's try it. And I gave him a reading. I've given like other employees readings and things like that. And they've all have benefited. They've all like had positive feedback from it. So it's like, yeah, like, why not? You know, it's not
Yeah,
costing us anything. Like, you work for us. Like,
for sure. That's so cool. And the other thing that I wanted to comment on was just like, you always end up finding how you can do it in your own way. Like I'm not somebody who's like a big, huge social media person, and it's taken me time, like just slowly but surely, just building and building on things. And I can see how that's culminating in your life, and that's just really amazing and wonderful to hear. And I affirm you on your journey.
thank you, thank you. I myself too struggle a whole lot with social media. I was the kid that didn't grow up with internet, so I just never really cared about it, and that's just kind of how it always was. Like I just didn't really like, okay, social media. That's just like, I don't know, something that people do, and it just never really intercepted with me. Like my head was always in a book somewhere, or I was playing video games, or something different. But now I'm like, oh, now I need to integrate it into my life.
Yeah, and like obviously with the law of attraction, you're going to attract who is supposed to come toward you.
Hmm. For sure. I feel I am constantly trying to reassure myself that like this is a process. I don't have to be perfect right now. Like I don't have to do things the way that other people do them. This is my own thing. And like if I don't want to do virtual readings like through DMs, I don't have to. Like, things like that. Just
So where do you see yourself going from here? Like, do you see yourself having your own place, or like, what are some of your goals?
so sort of short term, I want to continue doing more festivals, and I want to continue doing more markets because I like the connections that I'm making. And I like the opportunity that it gives me to travel. I'm super into travel. I'm super into meeting like interesting people and going into interesting places. And if I'm in the process also doing something that is, helping me also pay my bills so I can afford to do these things, it's like, oh, that's wonderful. And so I basically just want to go into bigger festivals and markets and things like that. Maybe even more eclectic ones, and maybe even eventually doing like red fairs and things like that. And I really just want to take it on the travel. Like I really like the idea of I don't know, being sort of like the traveling witch, if you will. It's kind of like wherever I am, I'll set up wherever I am and I'll just kind of be. And, um, I'm very much into that whole, like, this is where I'm existing and whatever I attract, I am attracting for this reason. And, um, I'm going to help whoever I'm going to help, and whoever I don't. And, um, so that's kind of like where I'm at right now. But as I sort of develop, I kind of want to start offering more services to people, like not just card readings, but especially considering within the past year and a half, I feel like, like how whenever the whole idea that divination tools are supposed to be given to you, I feel like I just had like a handful of them chunked at me like by all my friends and family. Not that I'm complaining, but like I was given like 2 crystal balls, like a scrying mirror, like I was given 3 or 4 more decks, and then I bought another deck, and then I was given these gorgeous runes, and like I like, oh my goodness, and then I was given the I Ching, and um so like I just have like a whole lot to learn, and I want to be able to incorporate that in sort of my own eclectic way to help people in more in-depth ways, to really get into the nuances that actually like cause big changes and transformations and inspirations in people's lives.
Yeah, that's amazing. It kind of just like as you're evolving, you want to have that expansion transcend through your company and through your business. So that's amazing. I mean, that's pretty much how it goes. It's like a snowball effect. And like you said, you've attracted these tools towards you. So there's always a reason that that it's coming into your sphere and you're going to use it to help augment other people's realities. So that's really great. I love that. Is there anything that you would want to tell people at the Bad Luck Ball why they should come and get a reading from you?
Oh my goodness, yes. Sort of like how I just sort of mentioned that I really like getting at that nitty gritty, like that, like what really sparks your fire. Like that's sort of what I really like doing for people. Like whenever they come to me and they sit down with me, I really like whenever they get that inspiration, whenever they have that aha moment, whenever they have that moment of like, I know, where I need to go, what I need to do. It's like, I want to be able to give that motivation to people to help them make the changes that they need to make. Whenever my readings, I do a whole lot of, I feel like I do a whole lot of mind mapping in a way, like showing people like what things look like, what, things look like right now, if they stay the way that they are, what is going to sort of transpire potentially from that, and like giving them the opportunity to say, like, this is my chance to take my will into my hands and make this decision, or to change the trajectory, or to simply stay a course because, it's the jazz right now. Like, but I want people to sort of have that opportunity to be like, this is my chance to harness my will and to use it. But yeah, that's my jazz,
We are looking forward to meeting you and having you at the Bad Luck Ball. Obviously, we do this every Friday the 13th. It's just getting bigger and bigger and cooler and cooler. It's just been a really good experience. I started with tarot reading, went to doing services, and then now we're here hosting markets and doing our own thing on a different path. So, congrats to you and your journey this far. And we look forward to seeing what you're going to do in the future. Can't wait to do some more interviews with you. And this was a really great one. I really appreciate your time.
Yes, and I appreciate yours. I'm super stoked to meet everybody. And I love everything that you guys are doing and that I'm able to be a part of it. And yeah, I'm just super stoked.
Awesome. Yeah. So since we didn't have, some of the video kind of dropped out, I'll probably add in some of your photos here. And then on top of that, we're going to be advertising you for about 3 to 4 months. So be on the lookout for that and just share, we want to get your story out there, and we're going to be sending a publication to like over 30 outlets about everybody who's involved in the Bad Luck Ball. So hopefully we can get you some recognition and you can start that travel.
Yay, thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Awesome. All right. Well, we will talk soon. I can't wait. It's like 2 weeks away, maybe less.
Yes, something like that. I think about it every day.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Just send us a prayer because we're like going cuckoo here, getting everything ready. But
most certainly.
Awesome. Well, thank you again for having or giving us your time, and we will see you soon.
Of course. Thank you. Thank you.
Bye. Welcome to the show. I'm Magical Mal. Thank you for being here with us. Now, tell me your business name one more time. I call you Calico Jade all the time, so just tell me your business.
All right, so I'm Calico Jade. Thank you for having me, and my business name is Jade's Metaphysical.
All right, simple enough. Awesome. Awesome. So tell me a little bit about your background. What got you started into tarot reading, the esoteric, anything you want to share with your background and your roots?
Well, I'm actually a first generation immigrant to a pastor's family. My parents were pastors my whole life. And somewhere around like 13, I hit middle school and I was like in class and we were learning about Egyptian mythology and like Taoism and religion and like cultural practices across the world. And something just clicked to me that, oh, I'm not Christian, right? So I started to question my beliefs a little bit, and it was a little bit of a rocky road. But once I got into high school, I got into organizing, grassroots organizing in California. And in doing so, I was open to new practices, to altar spaces, and to incense burning, and to ancestor veneration, and to just learning how folks, practice in community around each other. And that opened me up to like crystals. And somewhere spiraling down that path, I ended up on tarot. Once I decided to like take myself seriously and explore my own like spirituality, like it had been something calling me, but because, Christian background, I was full of a lot of fear. And I just, at one point, I was like, you know what? I'm 18. I'm an adult. I live on my own. And I took the plunge and I bought my first tarot deck and I started getting more into the craft and esotericism and just like really diving as deep as I could. And I had my life or death moment where I actually came to terms with who like I believe my higher power is, because I had met them and I'd realized, oh, this is why I couldn't leave. And it just was like a huge moment for me to realize that, oh, there is a higher power out there, but it's not necessarily what I was taught. And it just had to come to me in a different way. And so I picked up my tarot deck and I would just like do it at like fun little party events that I'd be throwing with my friends and we'd get drunk. And I'd be like, you know what, can I read your tarot? And I would read and every person would come back and tell me how shockingly accurate. And this would be things that I would like never, ever heard from them because we weren't like talking about like grandma, grandparents, and like any of this at all. And it would just be like, I don't know. I'm just reading the cards. I'm just doing what I'm doing. I like to practice. And eventually I was told by my own personal like spirits that I should go into this work, and I didn't believe them. A couple of months later, mid 2022, 2021, I had a tower moment in which I realized that like where I was at was no longer serving me, and the work that I wanted to do, I would have to do it in my own way. And it was kind of like being pulled by spirit to do it because I really didn't, believe that I could do it or didn't want to go down that path. But once
that's a grand awakening. I love that. And I can definitely relate to like the Christian background and having to step out of the broom closet and really take the plunge. So are you saying that 2020 was when, or what year was it that you started your business?
I started my business, I got all the legal stuff together in 2021, actually in October. And before then I was reading, but I was just reading for fun and just being like, hey, can I pull a card for you? Or I would be at work and I'd be shuffling my card and like I'd get cards out from my boss and I'd be like, hey, could we talk? I got like this reading for you. So 2021 is when I officially started my business.
That's great. So what can we expect for your expansion and your growth, and like where do you see yourself going?
Yeah, so my expansion, it's funny you say this because I've actually been like working specifically on like bringing healing justice. I was a grassroots organizer for a few years. And when I left, that's what actually propelled me into my craft fully, but really bringing spiritual justice, healing justice into my work spiritually and combining the two. And right now I'm working on an ebook to really explain like the emotional and like occult energetics behind money and healing money wounds so that you can open up yourself to receive more. So what's next for me is really just like launching some courses, launching some ebooks, and really just pushing forward with like my coaching plans as well as like my tarot readings.
That's amazing. I'm looking forward to the ebook because I mean everybody needs a money tip.
I'm telling you, this whole thing started because I need more money, and then it ended up being like, no, you need some self-care and some self-love, and then some more money. Like it just spiraled and snowballed into this, and I
totally get that. All right, so the last question that I'm going to ask you is, what do you want to tell our audience about why they should come to you for a reading?
Come to me if you're ready to hear the truth. Like if you are ready to just attack your problems head on and really see what it is that like you need to do without putting the blame on other people, come to me. If you're ready to learn to take like accountability for your own actions and not necessarily like hold your trauma as like, this is why I'm the way I am, come to me. If you're ready to learn to love yourself and you're confused at like, how do I start? How do I move? How do I begin this process? Come to me. If you're ready to connect to your ancestral magic, to your inner magic, come to me. Like I am here for the folks who felt lost for years and feel like they don't have that light within them and just need that extra spark to kickstart that flame that I know is there.
It's amazing. We are looking forward to having you at Bad Luck Ball and looking forward to seeing your growth and helping you augment that opportunity. Once you get that book and you can get it in a PDF form, I will get it on an NFT and we'll get you in the Web3 space and we'll just keep helping you expand.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thanks again for coming and sharing your time with me. I'm going to close and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you. It's been great being on your podcast.